These are the individuals who participated in the reporting. They are Crystal Angel de Herbilia, Mary Ann Ukbong, Mary Grace Barilio, Runel Gonyo, and Miss Mary Jane Padilla. Everyone, we are the group 12 and we are assigned to discuss these few topics. The first one is the nature of human language. The second one, the grammar of Philippine languages. And the third one is the language education. Let's discuss the nature of human language. Language is a defining feature that distinguishes human beings among other species. Although other animal species have developed their own communication system, they pale in comparison to the human language in terms of complexity, creativity, discreteness of the speech and gestural units, and adaptability. Language plays a vital role in the human existence as a primary medium for communication and interaction and is an integral part in the development of cultures and societies. Language, a distinctly human trait, is embedded into human beings' sociology, cognition, and thought processes. The possession of human language is what makes human beings unique. However, it has become a familiar aspect of daily life that one can easily take it for granted. This makes the study of language a necessary in linguistics. The scientific study of language deals with the description of different but interrelated phenomena involved with language, its structure and use. It is never an easy task to describe, more so to define such as immensely complex concepts as language. Linguists, who mainly study this highly sophisticated phenomenon in the existence of humanity, differ in their approaches and understandings of this concept, and often offer different and incompatible definitions. They view language as a social fact, a set of structures, a system of systems, in or a tool for communication. Cognitive scientists, who are greatly influenced by Noam Chomsky, an American linguist and political commentator, primarily view language as a psychological faculty, a mental organ, a distinct piece of the biological makeup of the brain, and a computational module. Chomsky argued for a universal grammar, an innate ability of the human brain to acquire language, and proposed that there exists a linguistic acquisition device, which supplies the child with the basic principles of grammar. Language is also characterized as a tool for human communication. Grammatically, structures of a language reflect constraints and use and needs of the users. In contrast with the formalist approaches proposed by Chomsky and his followers, the functionalist theories of grammar views language as a product of more cognitive abilities that are also used in non-linguistic activities, and not just as product of a specialized mental device. Languages of the world share some design features, general organizational mechanisms that distinguish human language from other forms of communication. These features may be shared by some animal communications. We have here the design features of languages. First, double articulation. Language uses a small number of sounds, less than 50 in most languages, that are combined to produce a large but finite number of words, which can be combined in an infinite number of sentences. And the productivity Language can produce novel sentences that have never been uttered before. Third, arbitrariness. There is no necessary connection between a sound and meaning. The meaning dog and the English word dog are connected arbitrarily as proven by the existence of the word chien in French, which roughly expresses the same meaning. Interchangeability. An individual can both be a speaker and a hearer. Displacement. The difference between language units are of an all or nothing kind. A sound cannot be heard as something in between A, B, or P sound. Specialization. Speaking requires only a limited part of the speaker's behavior, attention, and is independent of its context. Play is the cultural transmission. Not all aspects of language are innate, some are taught after birth and differ according to the culture the child is reared in. The study of human language. Linguistics deals with human language, including sign language. It is a highly diverse and interdisciplinary field, dealing with the concrete details of physical acoustics to abstract logical argument, from concise grammatically structured to reach observations on culture and society. As a field of study, it has the different subfields, each of which is concerned with particular elements of language. First, phonetics, the study of how sounds are made, how they are classified, how they combine and interact with each other, and how they are perceived. Second, phonology, the study of organization and structure of sounds, their distribution and conventions. Third, morphology, the study of how vowels are formed. Syntax, number 4, the study of organization of words into sentences and how these sentences are understood. Fifth, semantics, the study of meaning of language. The sixth, pragmatics, the study of meaning and how it can be interpreted in context. Let us now define grammar. In linguistics, the word grammar means the mental grammar that speakers have in their brains and the model or description of this mental grammar. To say that a science is grammatically means that it follows the rules of both grammars. Conversely, an ungrammatically sentence does not conform to these rules. There are two types of grammar. These are the descriptive grammar and prescriptive grammar. The descriptive grammar describes the basic linguistic knowledge of a speaker/hearer, how language is used and not how it should be used. It is the aim of linguistics to provide a formal statement of the speaker's grammar. On the contrary, the prescriptive grammar describes how a language should or ought to be used. It tells the speakers how they should speak and what rules they should follow. From a linguistic point of view, this type of grammar is bound to fail. Language is constantly changing. Writing, however, is a different case. It follows certain prescriptive rules of grammar, usage, and style that does not apply to spoken language.
My name is Crystal Angel D. Herbilia, your fourth reporter. The topic that I'll be sharing to you is the grammar of Philippine languages. This section describes the most salient points of the grammar of Philippine language. It presents the basic phonological and more syntactic features, of this language. The morph syntactic means involving both morphology and syntax. We all know the meaning of morphology is the study of how words are formed. The syntax is the study of organization of words into sentences and how they sentences are understood. That is the meaning of morphology and the syntax. Let's discuss the phonetics. The phonetics deals with the sounds of the spoken language. It is the study of the physical production of speech, how speech sounds are made, how they are classified, how they are combined with each other, how they are interact with each other when combined, and how they are perceived.
This is the continuation of the report of the Grammar of the Philippines. My name is Marianne B. Okbong, the fifth reporter from the Group 12. Articulatory phonetics describes mechanisms involved with the production of sounds, the organs involved in producing different speech sounds, and the classification of sounds articulated by human beings. Articulatory phonetics, this is the study of how speech sounds are produced in the vocal tract. All of our articulators in our vocal tracts must work in concert to produce just one speech sound. Consonant and vowels. Speech sounds can be classified into two major categories. First, consonant, second, vowels. So, might you ask, what is the difference between consonants and vowels? Basically, consonants involve comes construction of airflows, whereas vowels do not.
So this is the continuation report about the grammar of the Philippine languages. I am Mary Grace Barello. My topic is about the consonant. So consonant are described in terms of three dimensions. The place where the sound is articulated, the manner of that is produced, and the voicing. So first, voicing. So it is determined by the vibration of the vocal fold. Speech sounds are voiced if they are produced when the vocal folds and vibrating, and voiceless if they are produced when vocal folds are apart. Example in Tagalog and English, the B or the B sounds voiced, while P sounds is voiceless. So, the place of articulation refers to a point where and articulation. Usually, some part of the tongue and lips comes in contact with the location, typically a part of the vocal tract. So, place of articulation is where the ear stream is obstructed to form consonant sounds. So, there are 6 places of articulation. The first one is the bilabial. The bilabial sounds produced with the both lips. Example, the sounds of the P like P or pay, happy or tap, or the sounds of the B like P, bay, abe or tab, or the sounds of M like may, hammer or jam. So naapod siya isa ka consonants nga dili mag-close ang ato ang lips. So the sounds of the W, which is the W, like way or awok. So in all these sounds, both lips are coming together to create a sounds. So the second place of articulation is the labiodental. The obstruction of the airstream is made by the top teeth touching the lower lip. Example, the sounds of letter F like f or feel, proof, or defy. Or the sounds of letter V, the consonant V, like V, or the vil, bravery. So the third place of articulation, which is the interdental. Interdental sounds produced with the tip of the tongue between the teeth. The TH consonant. Example is thing, path, toothache. Yan. So the fourth place of articulation, which is the alveolar. Alveolar sounds produced by the tip of the tongue touching or approaching the alveolar ridge, which is the T consonants, like tap or the bit, or the D consonants like day, days, or bed. And also with the S, so the S or the S, like soda, passing, or pass. The fifth one is the alveopalatal. Sounds produced with the blade of the tongue approaching the hard palate. Example, the SH sounds, SH consonants like shout or splash. And so the sixth place of articulation is the velar. The sounds produced with the back of the tongue and approaching with the velum. Example is the sounds of letter K consonants like k or cat, ficking, or attack, or the consonant G, or the sounds is g, which is the gear, soggy, or tag. So that's all.
Good day to everyone. Our topic is all about language education. According to google.com, language education refers to teaching and learning of language, including to improve native language or the mother tongue. Then, according also to Wikipedia, language education refers to the process and practice of teaching a second or foreign language, but as applied linguistics. When we say applied linguistics, is to help understand real-life problems in areas such as psychology, sociology, and education. Therefore, we need to teach our learners on how to use or address language properly, specifically in foreign language, because there are terms or language that has no equal translation or meaning in our language. That's why we need to study it properly. Now, in language education, there are 4 basic language skills. According to our source, Teaching Adults an ESOL resource book developed by Pro Literacy America. First is listening. When we say listening, when people are learning new language, they first hear it spoken. Second, speaking. Eventually, they try to repeat what they hear. Third, reading. Later, they see the spoken language depicted symbolically in print. So, they see the language in the book. Number 4, writing. Finally, they reproduce these symbols on paper. Therefore, these 4 basic language skills are vital, no, in order learners how or learn new language. There are also main categories for language education. First is communicative competencies. Under the communicative competencies, there are linguistics competence, sociolinguistics, discourse, strategic competence. Linguistic competence is on how to use grammar, syntax, and vocabulary. Sociolinguistics, how to respond to language appropriately. and the relationship among the people communicating. Number 3, discourse, how to interpret, no? Then number 4, strategic competence, how to recognize and repair communication breakdowns, how to work around gaps in one's knowledge of language, and how to learn more about the language in the context. So these are the 4 domain of communicative competencies. And number 2, number 3, and number 4 will be discussed by our group mate, Miss Padilla.
Okay, I will finish the report that Ronald started. Number 2, proficiencies is a measurement of how well an individual has mastered a language, especially in terms of receptive and expressive. Proficiencies na siya tulo ka language skills. Mao na siyang syntax, vocabulary, and semantics. Number 3, cross-cultural experiences. Traveling is a wonderful experience. Going to new places and experiencing new things is both exciting. Example, where students or learners encounters diverse cultural background is to mix and learn to each other. Example, ako, Cebuano, niya makaadto kog Ilonggo area, niya ma-curious ko or ma-excite ko makadungog or makahibaw unsa nang ilahang sinultian nga moingon sila halong ka, mangulabo ta. So makana ka, ay, ang halong ka, it means amping ka, mangulabo, it means mamutong ta. So tungod ana, na kay bag-o nga na-learn nga sinultian gikan sa ilaha. Okay, number 4, multiple literacies. The term multiple literacies, also called new literacies or multiliteracies, it recognizes that there are many ways to relay and receive information, and students need to be proficient in each one.